Let's take it right over to a trader. Joining us now is Michele Schneider, Director of Trading at the MarketGauge Group. Mish, the stock market at times falls apart due to concerns about the banking system in America. I know there are isolated incidents in the regional banks, but U.S. banks are sturdy. They have stress tests constantly going on with the Fed. What can you tell us about this fear factor?
Well, it certainly was the bullet that the market caught over the last month in March when the news came out, bounced from it, and then we had another shot to the heart last week. But it seems to me that this is a market that is somewhat Teflon coated, and whether it's because the banking crisis isn't as severe, whether it's because Powell is getting ready to potentially pause, whether it's because the sell in May turns out that trying to figure out how to trade in the platitude doesn't necessarily make sense. It doesn't really matter. What we have going on right now is we're going to go back to a focus of the next potential crisis. And I think for this week, it's going to be the inflation numbers. Are we coming down inflation? Are we flatlining inflation? And of course, you all know how I feel. I feel that certain areas of inflation have cooled. Other areas could still go up. There's other bullets to dodge. And of course, the other thing is going to be debt ceiling, but I'm not all that concerned about that. So right now, if you just look at the market and what it's telling you is there's a couple of key places to keep your eyes on. And interestingly enough, it's not the banks. To me, it's all about the consumer. And even though we have transportation doing very well, we have granny retail actually sitting on critical support. Either XRT is getting a double bottom here, in which case we could have a nice rally, or if it breaks down under the 60 level again, then I think we're going to be in for more harder time. And it's really that simple at this point.
What is your trade of the day?
Well, I'd like to review 3 trades that I've given you over the last month, and because they're still in play. Number one is I've talked about Formula One. So it had this explosive move last week, and it looks like it's digesting that. I still think that has a tremendous upside. I've talked about Vegas and the race track that they're putting around the strip. It's hot. Number 2 is I've talked about Vietnam as a sleeper trade, VNM, the ETF. Well, with that, clearly we've got a situation now where news came out this week about BYD, which is the Chinese electric car company, now starting to manufacture in Vietnam. Super interesting. And third is Coty. Even though Estee Lauder fell apart last week, Coty had somewhat of a sympathetic reaction. And it's holding here in this range between 1150 and 1230. And it has earnings on the 12th, but I think that as a staple can actually continue to outperform. So that's my review.
I love that you track your trades for us. Thank you, Mish.
Thank you so much, Angie.
Go to businessfirstam.com for where to see our show on TV.